dating over 50. This just happened and I am upset about it and I don't know what to do. So I'm going to jump on here and see what y'all think. So please leave me a comment down below. And I'm definitely a big believer in, you got to listen to your intuition. You got to look within, and I'm certainly going to do that.
If you're still dating at 50, let's be honest, you can't really say you've got great dating instincts. That's kind of like a broke person claiming they're amazing with money. Imagine someone who's homeless giving you financial advice, saying, "Yeah man, I've got great intuition when it comes to handling cash." It just doesn't make sense, right?
I've been doing that, but I will tell y'all what just happened. So basically, Mr. GK and I had a date planned for this Friday. And, we went to lunch on Tuesday, which we've actually been doing that every week. And it was fun, whatever. But I have been getting some, intuitive hits of things that aren't lining up. I don't know. I can't really explain it. Maybe it's some of his behavior. Maybe it's like sometimes he takes longer to text back, which I know that's not a big deal. So I don't think that's it at all. I don't know. I actually went and even saw my therapist and she was like, "Heather, those really aren't red flags. Those are more like orange flags. And so just don't worry about it." So I was really trying to just kind of figured it's probably my past, but there is some things in his behavior. So I'll give you an example.
Before she even explains the situation, you can already guess what she's talking about. She's got that feeling, like the guy she's seeing isn't going to commit. And honestly, that feeling is usually right for modern women, because a lot of these guys don't actually want a serious relationship with them. What's interesting here is that she even mentions having a therapist she talks to often. And she also brings up her past, which says a lot. Basically, she's dated bad boys before, guys who didn't want anything long-term. Now she's getting the same vibe from this new guy. Do you see the pattern? A woman over 50, with a long history of chasing chats, now realizing she's once again in the same cycle of men who won't commit.
This morning, he texted me, "Good morning," and sent me this link to some video thing he was in. And so I responded and was like, "Oh, whatever, love it. You did such a good job." And then I said, "So what time are we going tonight?" Because when we talked on the phone last night, he was like, "You know what? I don't really know what time I'll be able to pick you up tomorrow night. And I haven't really made a plan for what we're doing because my daughter, he has his kids this weekend and his daughter is, going to go to the lake, blah, blah, blah." So he's like, "I'll let you know the time and place when I get in," and I figured this out last night. Well, then I woke up this morning and he didn't tell me, he didn't text me anything. And then when he sent me the good morning text, there was nothing in there about, "This is what time I'll pick you up." And so, that's why when I responded to his text this morning, when he sent me that video, I said, "Great job." But then I also said, "What time will you be picking me up?"
See what's happening here? She can't even lock down an actual date with the guy she's dating. Classic situation, right? Usually, when a man isn't offering his time or making plans, it's because he's just not that interested. And that's what a lot of women don't seem to get. Men have preferences, too. Most guys aren't looking to seriously date someone over 50. Even if the man himself is older or has kids, that doesn't change much. In most cases, these men aren't chasing commitment with women their age, especially the ones posting relationship stories on TikTok.
And he didn't respond. And then I went to yoga and I got out of yoga. I sent him that text at 9 a.m. And then I got out of yoga at 11. I got home at 11:30. And then by noon, he still hadn't responded. So, and actually he left me on delivered, which I don't love that. So I thought, well, maybe he didn't read it because, the first line said, "Good job." And then the second line was the line that said, "What time are we going tonight?" So I thought maybe he is in a meeting and he left it on delivered. So he didn't see the second line. So, of course I sound like a teenager that I'm freaking out so much about the dumb freaking texting, which I, overthink it, I know.
No, you're not overthinking it. The guy just isn't interested. That's the truth. And honestly, this is why so many women are still single in their 50s. They keep chasing men who don't take them seriously. You always hear women saying things like, "I'm not going to settle. I know my worth." But the problem is, they don't really understand what their worth looks like to men. They believe they deserve commitment, that they're wife material, that the guy should want a serious relationship with them. But when you look at reality, those men don't actually want that. If you can't secure a relationship before intimacy happens, that's a sign he's not serious about you. And it doesn't always mean he's better looking or has higher morals. It just means he's not interested in committing. A lot of women chase men who are simply out of their league, maybe he's successful, makes over 6 figures, or is the kind of guy everyone wants. But that doesn't automatically mean you're entitled to him. Yet so many women keep pushing for relationships with men who were never going to commit in the first place, and they refuse to accept that reality.
So I sent him a text at noon and I said, did you not get my above, or did you not read my above text? ? Because I'm thinking like, surely if you read it, you would have responded. So he called me and he said, right after that, he's like, hey, call me right back. So I did. 1 second, I'm watching my son's dog this weekend and he's being crazy. I'll show y'all. Oh my goodness, you guys stop it right now, stop. And so basically we talked on the phone for like an hour, and not an hour, 30 minutes. And I said, he was like, listen, I'm really sorry, but this is my last weekend with my kids. And he was like, I'm feeling really guilty about leaving my daughter tonight because my other 2 kids are going to be gone. So she was going to be here alone. Mind you, his daughter's 16. And there was a part of me that's thinking like, why would a 16-year-old daughter want to be with her dad on a Friday night? Like, I don't know about y'all, but when I was 16 years old, I was with my boyfriend or with my friends all the time, especially on a Friday night. So
yeah, she was right about that part. It all connects back to her past. You can tell she's been living that same lifestyle since she was a teenager, always out every weekend, hanging with friends and boyfriends. That says a lot. But honestly, I don't think she's overthinking anything. The truth is simple. These men just aren't interested. And yet, so many women convince themselves they're a great catch. They'll say things like, I go to therapy, I've healed, I know what I want now. But that doesn't mean much to men when it comes to dating. Women think it's impressive to say, I'm strong, independent, successful, I have a career, I have my own house. But what they don't understand is that men don't really care about that. Dating isn't about what you want, it's about what he wants too. And a lot of these women are pricing themselves out of the dating market without realizing it. Think about it. The kind of older, successful guy these women are chasing, he usually has options with younger women. Younger women who have less baggage, fewer emotional issues, and who he's more attracted to physically. So why would he commit to someone older when he doesn't have to? And the truth is, many younger women today are open to dating older men, casually, without expecting much commitment. So from his point of view, why settle down when he can have younger women showing interest without all the pressure or drama? That's the part a lot of these older women just don't want to face.
All the time, especially on a Friday night. So that thought did cross my mind. And so I was kind of mad, but he was like, I'm sorry, I should have told you earlier. It's like, that's why I didn't respond to your text, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And, and I actually was like, you know what? I don't love this at all. In fact, it makes me kind of mad. And I'm kind of feeling really bad about it, because I said, do you even really have time for a relationship? If you have these 3 kids and whatever. And he was like, yeah, I think I do. And I was like, okay, and we kind of talked through it. And again, he was like, I'm sorry. And I said, I also didn't love that you didn't respond to my text. Even if you didn't know what you wanted to do, you should have just said that, like, hey, I'm still not sure what we're going to be doing. So give me a minute or an hour, whatever it is. And then I'll, get back to you.
By the way, I honestly don't know why she doesn't just move to a different room, one without the dogs. She could record anywhere. But anyway, that's not really the point. Here's what I mean. She's sitting there, clearly frustrated, saying things like, you should have done this or you need to do that. And she's getting upset, but that attitude alone is enough to push a guy away. At some point, the man's going to think, why am I dealing with this? He could easily go out and meet a woman in her late 20s or early 30s, someone who's interested, laid back, and not angry about cancelled plans. Now, I'm not saying the guy is right or wrong here. If he made plans and didn't follow through, that's on him. But the reality is, most men, especially successful ones, aren't going to stick around for arguments and nagging. If he's worked hard, built a good life, takes care of himself, and has options, why would he choose unnecessary stress? He's going to look at that situation and think, do I really need this? And just like that, he moves on, no drama, no second thought.
And I also owned my anxiety, though. I was like, I know that I'm also anxious, and I own that, whatever. If you don't respond to a text, I know I don't need to read that much into it. I guess we had an okay conversation. You know, he really didn't say like, but here's when I want to see you again. Like, I would have loved that. So I actually said, well, when am I going to see you again? And he was like, well, next week I don't have my kids. And I know we talked about getting together on Father's Day, which is Sunday. And I was like, I can't do that. And he's like, okay, well, how about Monday or Tuesday night? So we decided on Tuesday night. But still, I feel like he could have like come over for coffee or asked to have breakfast with me tomorrow morning or something. I don't know. And so we got off the phone and I just feel terrible. And
The reason this woman feels so bad is pretty simple. The guy just isn't showing much interest in her. He's busy focusing on his kids, maybe seeing someone else, or just living his life. And that really gets to her, because she's thinking, I want a real relationship. I want a man who puts time, energy, and effort into me. But the truth is, a lot of men, especially the ones women want, just aren't doing that anymore. And honestly, they don't have much reason to. Most older men have already been through serious relationships. They've had ex-wives, long-term girlfriends, they know what that life looks like. So they're not exactly rushing to jump back into it. They've experienced the stress, the drama, the arguments, and now, they'd rather keep their peace. That's what really frustrates a lot of women today. They're searching for emotional security and long-term commitment, but the men they want simply aren't willing to give it.
So we got off the phone and I just feel terrible. And I just feel like, I don't know, something in me is telling me that something seems really off. Mm-hmm. And again, here I go, like, is it my anxiety or is it my intuition? And I just don't know. And I guess I won't know until time goes on, you know, but like part of me is like, I should just end it now because, you know, what if he's lying? But then there's another part of me that's like, well, what if he's not lying? And what if his 16-year-old is an odd 16-year-old who likes to stay home with her dad on a Friday night? What if he is telling me the truth, you know? And so I don't know. So I guess the thing that's like sticking in my head is like, if you don't know what to do, then just don't do anything, you know? So I think I'm just not going to do anything and I'm just going to see how he shows up. But if this like bad feeling and this sadness or whatever you want to call it, it continues, like, and if, you know, if he continues to kind of treat me this way, because that was not okay. Like canceling a date at noon on Friday, I don't love that. In fact, I hate it. And I deserve more than that.
And there it is again, that word deserve. Now, it's easy to feel bad for her, but let's look at a few things first. This is a woman in her 50s. She's had decades, literally over 30 years, to find a serious relationship, to get married, to build something stable. Unless she's a widow, which would be a different story, I don't really see a reason to feel too much sympathy here. And honestly, I've never been a fan of people crying on camera. Most of the time, it just comes across as fishing for sympathy. The truth is, she could find a partner if she wanted to. Even at 50, women still hold far more dating power than the average man ever will. She could easily find someone to date, maybe even marry. There's always going to be a guy out there willing to settle down with her. But the question is, what kind of guy would that be? And the answer is simple, not the one she actually wants. From the sound of it, she's not even in a real relationship with this man. It's probably just casual dating, maybe they've hooked up, but there's no commitment. So now she's anxious, wondering why he won't take things seriously. That's the problem. So many women try to use their looks, emotions, or affection to lock a man in, but it rarely works. Most guys today aren't falling for that anymore. And just like it's a mistake for men to lead with money, it's a mistake for women to lead with intimacy. Because at the end of the day, if you give too much too soon, the guy will enjoy the moment, but is not going to commit long term. Okay, like canceling a date at noon on Friday, I don't love that. In fact, I hate it, and I deserve more than that. And so there is a big part of me that's like, this is not okay, and I should just break up with a guy. But I'm not 100% sure, so leave me a comment down below and let me know what y'all think. Okay, thanks. Love you guys. Wow, 50 years old and still out here dating, still searching for the one. Honestly, it's kind of funny when you think about it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, take care of yourselves, guys. Of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.